Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Attempt number 2. I just tried this and then people said it disappeared off the screen. So I'm going again. Hopefully this one works. Anyway, Newcastle yesterday, it just went wrong, didn't it? From the start, not till the finish. It went wrong from the start till half time, and then the last 5 minutes of the game it went wrong. It's hard to pinpoint it. I don't think the tactics were great. And I wasn't as angry as I expected. But I want to elaborate on the game a little bit because we had to cut the review short because of the Prince Philip funeral. So I want to talk about the individual performers and stuff like that and just dissect the Newcastle game a little bit more and then one or two bits and pieces. So if you're joining me live, welcome. If you're watching this on playback, thank you for giving up your time. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to Hamshot. Like the video now, so I don't have to remind you at the end, and you probably won't make it to the end. But there was two players. There's two players that sort of grabbed the headlines for the wrong reasons for West Ham yesterday, Fabianski and Dawson. But I think they're both different. I think Fabianski's got a lot of credit in the bank. And yesterday he came out on social media and put his hands up and admitted some mistakes. Now, putting his hands up in the Newcastle game was where he made the mistake. But he came out and apologised. I think it takes a little bit of bollocks to do that, right? I do think it does. And I think you earn a lot of respect from the fan base. I don't think the apology was necessary because, like I said, I think he had a good game. Apart from that one drop of the ball, I think Fabianski generally did all right. I thought Newcastle tested him a lot and he was all right. Just that one big error. But the Dawson thing was just... Fabianski dropped the ball, okay? That's a mistake. What Dawson did was almost unexplainable to some extent. It was rash. It was something that was just... He lost his head for a moment or something. His first yellow card, I actually sympathise a little bit with his first booking because it's a really bad pass from Jared Bowen. And Dawson getting booked and then sent off as a result of that booking sort of takes away just how bad that pass from Bowen was. It was a, what you call a hospital pass, isn't it? He gives it to Yolenton, puts on one-on-one Dawson. Yolenton knows all you have to do is knock it past Craig Dawson and have a race and you're going to beat him. So Dawson kind of has to take that one. There is players around about him, you know, Noble's there, Diop's there, but I'm not sure that Dawson knows that. That's fine. But the second one is just dreadful. The more I watch it, the worse it gets. It's an awful first touch to begin with. But why he then lunges in is unexplainable. He's extremely late. He's not just missed the player or anything. The guy's knocked it back. He should have, as soon as that first touch happened, he should have just stepped back, gave Yolenton possession and said, right, okay, I'm back in shape. Let's go. And as soon as we went down to 10 men, it was always going to be difficult. However, the heart that we showed in the second half, the attitude, the passion, the commitment, and I liked it. I liked what I saw in the second half against Newcastle. We were sort of a little bit, not unlucky. I don't think we deserved anything from the game, really, because we didn't turn up until half-time. And I thought Newcastle got their tactics spot on. And while we did gift them 2 goals, I think they probably deserved to score with how much chances they were creating, how much they were testing the goalkeeper, the intent they showed. I think they deserved the win, Newcastle. But the bigger picture is we're still in the hunt for European football. We've got 6 games to go. I think we need 4 wins. I think 4 wins will see us in European football next season. Whether that's enough for the top 4 or it's Europa League or the Europa Conference League, I'm not sure. I think it'll get us European football. We're currently 5 points ahead of Spurs with 6 games to go, and Spurs are 7th. I expect us to finish in the top 6. I do expect us to finish in the top 6 now, which would just be tremendous. 6th would still be tremendous. It really would be. I think it would just be unbelievable achievement. At the start of the season, I would have been happy. I would have been very happy with 10. It is a bit ambitious. You know, wow, 10th in the league. You're not going places or that. But it's about building, isn't it? It's a solid season, laying the foundations to try and do something next season. We've almost skipped. Basically, what Moyes has done this season is worth 3 years of progression or something as a Premier League football club. He's sped it up a little bit. He's cheat-coded his way to sort of challenging for European football. And I think it's a fantastic achievement. So the Chelsea game will tell us a lot. But after that, we've got some decent fixtures. Everton's in there, but we've still got Burnley, Southampton. You've got to be fancying points against them. We might have Rice back because he's back in the gym. He's put up posts of him in the gym. Moyes has refused to rule out Antonio for the season, so we might get him back for the last couple of games or something like that, which could be crucial. It's getting to a nervy point. But anyway, People in the live chat, get your comments in. Any questions, whack them in. I'll stick around for another 10 minutes. I thought we'd have a little chit chat. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Tomorrow night we've got the 5 yards video where we're doing the transfer market strategy. Where myself and Gonzo, we've done our budget spending. We're asking you guys to pick your strikers. We'll have a look at them on 5 yards. Look at the scout reports, how they're rated, their valuation. Then the live chat will pick a player, and then next week we will spend the rest of the kitty. Simple as that. So let's have a little look. Andy Walsh says, looks like we're Champions League bound due to the Big Six wanting to join a European Super League. I've already seen a little bit about that, so I'm not going to go too in depth about that. I just can't see. I can't see them leaving the Premier League. It's a silly thing to do. And Gary Smithhurst says, can't keep shipping goals and needing to score 3 to win or draw. That is concerning. I do think that is massively concerning at the minute. I thought Ogbonna coming back would have helped us out a little bit. It didn't really, did it? We conceded 3. Although that isn't helped by the Dawson sending off. I'm not going to miss Craig Dawson against Chelsea. And I know that won't be too popular. And a lot of people, I've seen some people on social media criticising Craig Dawson. But then I've seen them getting criticised for criticising Craig Dawson. And I don't understand it. I think his performance deserves to be criticised, just like every player does for West Ham. I think every player deserves to be criticised and praised. You know, that is what you do as a fan. You have an opinion. But I think Dawson's been poor for a few games now. Not just one, not just 2. I think 3 or 4 games he's been poor now. We're seeing Watford, Craig Dawson. I know it's a bit harsh, but generally that's my opinion of it. I'm not sure loads of people were... When Dawson got that second yellow card yesterday, I don't think there was that many people surprised. The warning signs were there early on, not just his first booking. He was getting caught after that as well. Anyway, Phil says if we lost to Leicester and beat Newcastle, we'd have expected that almost. So in some ways, not really any different. I agree with what Phil's saying here. I think 6 points from Wolves, Leicester, and Newcastle is a good tally. I do think we need to get a point, though. And this is what Ben's saying. Do you think a draw against Chelsea enough for Champions League? He thinks we need all 3. We don't know yet because Chelsea play on Tuesday against Brighton. If Chelsea don't win, then a point is enough. But if Chelsea obviously beat Brighton, then there's probably a little bit of pressure on us to get all 3. But while as good as Chelsea look, they've got the FA Cup and they've still got the Champions League. They're going to have a little bit of fixture congestion coming up. You know, they played yesterday and then they play again on Tuesday. Then they play us on Saturday. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them drop points. We saw West Brom beat them. West Brom beat them a couple of weeks ago, 5-2 or something mental. It is just a absolute mental scoreline. It is a one-off scoreline kind of thing, like Villa beating Liverpool. But we just have to hope there's another one along the way that results in Chelsea getting beat. Chippy's asking Noble can last much longer without a rest. I'm not sure. I think he struggled off the ball against Newcastle yesterday. I thought on the ball, I thought he was okay. I don't think he was that bad. He wasn't adventurous, but I thought he was keeping the possession. While a lot of people around him were struggling to just play simple passes, I thought Martin Noble was actually quite calm and composed. I thought in the second half, I thought he was doing quite well. He was dropping back and getting the ball off centre-backs and giving it to Alexa Soufal, pushing us up the pitch. And I thought when Martin Noble went off, I actually thought we lost a little bit of discipline in that team. I thought we started to get a bit too open. We scored immediately after to make it 2-2. But I just felt it was a tough game for him because I thought St. Maximin was coming central, Yolenton was central, Almiron, them have all got a bit of pace about them. And Mark Noble, while he's fit, he's just not quick. And I thought it was a tough game for him. Chelsea will be difficult as well. It will be very, very difficult. Robert's right. We need Brighton and Leeds to do us a favour. We need someone to do a favour. James is saying Dawson played well for 50 games and he's been crap for the last 5. Let's hope he improves. Now, that's quite simple. That's a simplistic way of putting it. I don't necessarily disagree here. I don't disagree with what James is saying. Joel is saying tell the Big Six to head off to that European tournament and ban them from domestic trophies. Let them play in their Super League in the soulless exhibition games. I think that's right. Scarborough saying, I think a lot of players are feeling pressure. This is unfortunately leading to mistakes. I think there was a bit of nerves yesterday. I think, the first 10, 15 minutes, there was 2 passes in particular that stood out to me. Dawson gave it to Ogbonna. We were just knocking around at the back. There was no impression of Ogbonna. Ogbonna put his foot out to get the ball, missed it, ran after it, sort of kept it in at the touchline and somehow managed to fumble the control, and it went out for a throw in. And then about 5 minutes later, Diop gave it to Soufal, and Soufal just missed it again and rolled out for a throw in. We were very, very sloppy for the first half hour in that game. I don't just mean the goals conceded. I mean, our passing was just poor. So I'm willing to put down to nerves. And that's normal. As much as listen, I'm aware doing videos on the games and getting overly sort of in-depth at times and stuff is what we do at Hammers Chat. So I'm aware this is a little bit hypocritical or whatever, but footballers are still human. They are going to get nervous before big games. They are going to make mistakes because of the pressure. And sometimes you've just got to accept it, as difficult as it is, because you don't want them to make errors, but it comes with experience. And some of our players just don't have that sort of big game experience yet. The Three Hammers says, I think if you're playing bad, you can't be invincible to being dropped. I agree with that. I think there's a trust thing with David Moyes. I think Moyes will play you if he trusts you. Sometimes it's irrespective of form. Not always. He does drop players as and when required. But I do think there's one or two players that, because Moyes trusts, if they were to play 3 or 4 bad games, I think they would still play the 5th game. They'd eventually get dropped, but I do sometimes think it almost takes a howler in order for Moyes to change up a little bit. But given that we're 4th in the league right now, it's worked, hasn't it? So you can't really, that's an observation of how Moyes goes away about things, by the way, rather than a criticism per se. Tom Bull speaking about Dawson here says he's been, last couple of performances have been terrible. He's been criticised far more than Diop, who's been awful for 18 months. I disagree and agree. I think it depends where you look, Tom. I think I've seen most players get criticised a lot. I think there's 1 or 2 players that they split the fan base, and people get quite passionate if you're criticising the player. You sort of get sort of fans defending them. I think Ben Rama is one of those players. I think Fornals used to be, but not anymore. I think people tend to appreciate Fornals now. I think Allaire was one of those players when he was here. Martin Noble's always been one of those players. I think with Diop, I just don't think he engages much debate. If someone criticises Diop, I think people just allow it to some extent. If that makes sense, probably not. Anyway, Kyle says, we're starting to get an aging team. Is too many transfer replacements for West Ham to achieve financial? Yes, I don't think we're going to have that much money in the summer, because we're going to need to get that striker in. We're trying to get Jesse Lingard in. That's pretty much the budget gone, isn't it? Realistically, that will be most of the budget gone. That's where it gets a bit tricky. Jamie says Fabianski doesn't deserve to be criticised. I think he does. Just on yesterday's game, I think you can. I think you're allowed to criticise a player's performance, and that's it. When you're speaking about one game, I think you can speak about the game isolated, and it doesn't reflect your opinion in the bigger picture. And this is one of the things that sort of irks me about social media sometimes. Moyes is probably the best example. If we lose a game and some fans criticise Moyes, sometimes I get told, yeah, but look where we are, we're having a fantastic season. But the original poster didn't say we weren't. The original poster was simply commenting on the game in hand, which is, I think Moyes has made a mistake in this match. But the reply is something like, we're 4th, what do you expect? Well, he doesn't say that Moyes isn't doing well. The original poster simply said he could have done better. And I think that's the same with football or something. I think Fabianski, I think you can criticise him for the Newcastle game. He made a howler. But it doesn't mean criticising yesterday does not mean you think he's a bad goalkeeper or he's having a bad season. You just think he had a bad game. That's it. That's it. I'm going to shut up. Anyway, I'm going to stop. I went on a mini rant there. I can only apologise for that. Anyway, the live chat, I'm quite far behind. I'm going to start trying to catch up a little bit here. I'm going to start catching up. Right, let's just keep going. Yes, Charlie saying he's assumed I've missed the European Super League news from a while ago. I seen someone saying that the 5 of the 6, the Man City, are the only ones that haven't signed up to it, that don't want to move. I'd be surprised if it happens. I just don't think it will for whatever reason. Andy says we're sloppy all over the field, hard to blame one player. I agree with that. The 2 goals, though, were from individual mistakes. That's what it is, I guess. Barry says Ogbonna's always rusty when he comes back from injury. I thought he was not good, but not bad. I thought he was average yesterday. Zach says that Fabianski's never been able to catch a cross. That's a valid criticism. I think that's fair. I think what Zach said there is fair. He got called Fabianski. He's never been the greatest at catching crosses. and I don't think he's ever been the best at distribution, but I think he's fantastic goalkeeper. Gary says, injuries are killing us. Squad doesn't have the depth it should. Don't want to dig out Ben Johnson, who generally plays out of his natural position, but he shouldn't be starting. Adam says that Dawson yellows, we are the worst defending I've seen, poor decision making. I agree with that. That's the second yellow card. I completely agree with that. RM says we need to take stock for a minute. We're feeling under pressure for Champions League spot. Don't disagree. Well, Bell's asking for an injury in Jesse Lingard's an update on Jesse Lingard's injury. It was cramp. It's been confirmed it was cramp. He's fine for the Chelsea game. He will be back for the Chelsea game. Charlie says, unless we get what we paid for him, he hopes that Ben Rama doesn't leave yet. He's got so much more to give. I see both sides of that, Charlie. I know what you're doing here because, I think I predict we're going to sell him. I'm standing by that prediction. It doesn't mean I want him sold. I just think that he's worth a lot of money and we don't have a lot of money. So I think we'll cash in on him. Tom saying that Ben Rama has been a massive disappointment. Steve said, everyone makes mistakes. We're punching well above our weight. Let's be realistic. Top 8 is still a big improvement. I think that's all factually correct. Brian said we were crap in the first half, but good in the second. That was the most promising thing from yesterday for me, Brian. Not that there was a lot to pick from, but we came out in the second half, and I came on at halftime. They watched along at halftime. I came on with Charlie, and I said to him, I want to see us throw the kitchen sink at Newcastle in the second half. And we didn't quite do that. We've done it well. I thought we played it well. Jeff says our expectation levels have increased and we're becoming more critical. We're still for. I think that's an excellent point. I think it's possibly fair to increase your expectation level. I've always said one thing in life, one of my mantras in life is that when you receive new data, it's all right to change your mind. It's okay. And I think sometimes people see other people changing their opinion as, I don't know, a sign of weakness or something. You almost get criticized for changing your mind. You can say something 8 months ago. You could say, I don't think Jordan Hugo is good enough for the Premier League. Norwich are now in the Premier League. He'll probably score a hat-trick on opening day. And someone will say, you said Jordan Hugo wasn't good enough for the Premier League. Yeah, 8 months ago, mate. A lot has happened in that time. I've now seen him score a hat-trick in the Premier League. I'm allowed to change my opinion on what I have witnessed. So I think Jeff's got an excellent point there. Maybe our expectations levels have increased, but I think that's fair. I do think that's fair because we're now judging West Ham as a team that are Champions League contenders. At the start of the season, we were probably looking at them as potential relegation battling candidates. Halfway through the season, we're looking at them as a team that will finish in mid-table, top half, so on and so forth. But now we're looking at them as Champions League candidates, which we are. 6 games ago, we're 4th. We are more than Champions League candidates right now. And I think it's fair to some extent that you sort of look at it as that. Anyway, Keith says there's the dreaded poor touch tackle. Never a good idea to lunge in. It's coming for Dawson. Form has dropped off the last 3-4 weeks. And Three Hammers says the biggest problem with social media is assume that you can't look at a game/player individually on a set performance without being put in a negative box or be accused of being wise in out. I think it is a bit black and white sometimes. I think if you say, oh, that player's poor, it means you don't like him. You can be grey if you like. You can be neither that player in or that player out at times. You can be just all right with it. Crazy Cam says that Fabianski is a professional and can take the criticism. However, I don't think he should be slated. He got unlucky and it came at the wrong time. I agree with that. I think I completely agree with that as well. Ionic says, bit harsh for losing a single game. God pray we ever go on a losing run like under previous managers. Tarkisco says, what's Balbuena's situation? I'm based in Sao Paulo. We're in need of a good defender. He's leaving on a free at the end of the season. Someone asked earlier, has Balbuena been sort of wrongfully treated, if you like? I think he has been. I think he's a good defender. I've liked him for quite a while. I've always liked him. I've always defended him. Irony, defending a defender. But I think it's a mistake to let him go, but I understand why he would want to go because he's not getting first-team football here. He's at a pivotal point of his career. His next contract's probably his biggest one or his most important one. So I understand why he would go. He's a lot of value. I think he's staying in Europe, though. I don't think he's heading back to South America. Yeah, his agent said he's going to stay in Europe. Liam said, I think Benrahma will be one of those players who will never succeed at West Ham under Moyes, but as soon as he goes into a club, he will get into a club that suits him. He will be excellent. And then we've got Scott Verne saying, do we need to look at signing a centre-back? Diop and Dawson just aren't cutting it. I would hold fire on that one, Scott. It'd be interesting to see how Alves gets on. There's a lot of noise about Alves, and he's in pretty much every squad since he's arrived. He's always on the bench. So I do think that is a reflection of Moyes maybe expecting him to step up next season. And I wonder if Moyes has to pick between Alves and Balbuena for the bench, which one he picks. I think he'd probably pick Balbuena because it's easier. But I do wonder if he'd be tempted to pick Alves towards the end of the season, given that Balbuena's off. Zach says, for now, I should play for Nobles. Benrahma should play in attack. Mitchell, thank you for popping a $5 into the full-time fund. He says he's off to rehab tomorrow. So I say, Master, thank you to you and all the boys attached. Keep me saying thanks. Well, best of luck, Mitchell. I hope it goes well for you and that whatever it is, I hope you get it sorted and you come out at the end of it as a better person and you feel better about yourself. But no problem. Thank you. We appreciate your support. You've always been a big fan of the channel, even though you support Liverpool, and you're always helping the channel out as well, which we appreciate a lot. So thank you. And seriously, though, best of luck. If you ever need anything, just get in touch with us. You know the email address. Just get in touch. Adam says that we need another centre-back. Has to be young. We have no pace if we get Europe. We need pace or we'll get beaten in most games. T says that it's not possible for anyone to punch above their weight for over 32 games. West Ham are up there on merit. I'm just flicking. Peter, do we think we'll still get European football with all the injuries? Right, I'll tell you what, live chat, let's have a game. Because I'll start wrapping this up in 5-10 minutes. So let's play a game. Put in your prediction, what we're going to do. I'm interested. It's like a very, the most inaccurate poll that will ever be done in West Ham. We're going to do it now. If you think we're going to get Champions League, just put Champions League. If you think we're going to get the Europa League or the Europa Conference League, just put Europa League. If you think we're going to miss out altogether, put no Europe. Okay, Champions League, Europa League, no Europe. Get your predictions in. Are we going to get European football? Let's have your predictions, and I'll get some on the screen, and I'll try and gauge which is the most popular, all right? James has given me £2 to say it's careful. I'm having a meltdown. I am a little bit. Sometimes things irk you a little bit, and sometimes the social media thing irks me. I don't like it that when people criticize players or managers or something like that, they get criticized for having an opinion. I don't like that. Opinions should be encouraged, in my opinion. This is really long-winded, this, isn't it? I'm saying my opinion a lot here. In my opinion, opinions should be encouraged, but too often I see other people's opinions being told to shut up, basically. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Right, let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at some predictions here. All right. Zach saying I've skipped his comment twice. Zach, I can't click on them all. I'm doing my best. And Neil says that we need to be thereabouts after the Chelsea game and attack the last 5. We've got a great chance of finishing in the top 6. I think that's a good way of looking at it, to be fair. Right, Ben, Europa League. Peter, Liam, Crazy Cam, Europa League. Andy, Ben, Champions League. Duvet's Europa, Thomas, Europa. Gary says no European football. 40, Tom, Europa League. Burnley have just scored to make it 1-1, apparently. I don't know. I don't have it on. I know they're playing Man United, so that'd be good news for us. Not that I think we'll catch them, but it helps. Europa League. Okay, Europa League's won this, hands down. There's still a few believers in the Champions League. There's still a few. Europa. Yeah, there's lots of Europa Leagues. There's a few Champions Leagues chucked in there. A few Champions Leagues, which is good. I'm going to assume we all want Leicester to beat Southampton. So if they or Chelsea win the FA Cup and qualify for Champions League, yes, we do. We want Leicester to beat Southampton in the FA Cup. You are correct. Mitchell, the Liverpool fan, says Champions League for West Ham. Anyway, most are saying Europa League. I would say about 70%. I would say 10% or 15% Champions League, 50% saying nothing. Europa League's very much on the cards here, which is good. And I like that because football's about dreaming. Some people always wonder what the point of football is or point of being a football fan is. I always think it's about the ability, the permission, if you like, to dream. It's about emotions, and emotions and dreams tend to go hand in hand and stuff. And I just think that the dream that we're being allowed to believe in right now is unbelievable. I would never in a million years expect to be in this position with 6 games to go, but we are. And sometimes you will get people in the comments of videos or social media as something that tells you to wise up, you're not getting European football. And I just refuse to listen to them. They might be correct. We might not get European football, and I'm sure they'll be along to say, I told you so. And that's okay, because if you don't blow your own trumpet, no one else will blow it for you. So you might as well do it yourself, right? But what I won't do is allow fans to say, or anyone, they're not, I'm not even sure they're all West Ham. Some West Ham fans are, and I understand their point. I understand why they think that we won't get European football, okay? I get it. But when they say, oh, wise up, we're not going to get it, stop believing, blah, 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 I won't, because what's the point otherwise? What's the point in life if you're not going to if you're not going to believe in things, or you're not going to hope to do things, aspire to things? What's the point, really? So I'll keep believing until mathematically we can't do it. Just like when we're in a relegation fight, you've got to believe you'll get out of it until. Do you think Scott Parker sat in the Fulham changing room today telling them, oh, lads, Jimmy Craven Cottage 99 said on YouTube, you're not staying up, so we might as well forget it, boys. We might as well just not bother playing Arsenal today, because YouTube, some geezer on YouTube says we're not staying in the Premier League, we're going to have to give up. I don't think he is. I think Scott Parker's in there telling the lads that they are staying up. They've got an opportunity to stay up, and they better go out there and make sure that they are. I don't know why I keep getting. I'm a bit ratty today. I think I'm a bit ratty. I don't know why that is, but I do. But I'm not going to mention it. Right. RM says, Patreon, how does this work? I'll just give you a brief run through for people, because I go on about it a lot, and let's get to the point in the month. We don't like to go on about it too much. But when you go to patreon.com/hamsterchat, it is in dollars, but it does convert to pounds or your currency when you go to pay. £3.60 per month is the lowest one, and then it goes up in tiers. The higher up you go in tiers, there's 4. The more you get for what you pay for. So the top tier, you get everything, essentially. You get more content. You get player ratings, Patreon podcast. You'd be on the Patreon podcast with Charlie and Ray. Opposition View, where I try and guess the upcoming team, not the West Ham one, the team that we're looking at. That's what I try and do over there. Discount, stuff like that. Myself and Gonzo are trying to do this full time, essentially. I'll do a video on Patreon at the end of the week or something about my own situation, because a lot of we mentioned on Cup of Tea, but there's a reason I'm sitting with a white background now. Like I said, it's on Cup of Tea, but I'll do a thing. It's a bit of a crunch time for myself personally, because if I don't do this full time, I will be getting a different job, and that job is in retail management, which means working weekends, which means I won't be doing videos. I will do some videos, but I'll probably be missing 60 to 70% of matches. I'll be missing 70% of West Ham games, so I won't be able to do the reviews. My video output, if you like, will depreciate by about 75%, I think, because the job that I've applied for will require working a lot of weekends and some evenings. So I just won't be able to do it. So it's crunch time for me. I'm hoping that we can get to a position where I can continue to do Hammers Chat full time, and I can watch all the games. Simple as that. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. I'm trying, mate. I'm trying to stick to this full time. F Tots at 9 out of 10. We would have won that 5 or 6-0. The worst thing is, or the best thing is, I kind of agree with you. I think yesterday was a blip. It was a one-off. It was sort of like old West Ham, but that's what makes it a blip, because we are not. West Ham this season has been a lot better than that, a lot more consistent, a lot more reliable, and we saw it in the second half. The second half against Newcastle, we saw this season's West Ham. The first half was just a blip. Individual errors, the tactics weren't quite there. None of the players were up for it. We were sloppy, we were nervous. It happens. I don't know if I'm just getting a bit more mellow as I get older or something. I'm not sure. I wasn't that angry. It's a massive missed opportunity. I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. But I didn't have any anger in me, because I felt like while we were poor against Newcastle first half, I didn't feel like we weren't trying. I think the effort was there, and I think that's why I'm okay with it. I agree with Kiriakos. He's saying we're poor before the errors. I agree we're poor after it as well. It's nothing to do with playing 10 men. The players just weren't good enough, if you want. We just weren't up for it. William says, worst time to play struggling teams. It is. We've got to play Southampton, though. That's a bit of a dead rubber. I'm hoping Burnley can win a couple of games before they play us, so they're away from that bottom three. Everton are in danger of becoming a bit of a dead rubber for them because they're just not quite in the European race a little bit. I'll do a few more. Andy's saying that he does the middle tier and he's pleased with the content. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate that. Forever Blown Balls are top of the Hitting Woodwork League. Boys and girls, talking of stats, as you know, I love a stat. Remember a few weeks ago, when I say a few weeks ago, I mean literally 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was that stat about how West Ham were the only team in the Premier League that hadn't made an individual error conceding to a goal. And then we scored 2 own goals. Masuaku sets up Kelechi Iheanacho. Fabianski throws it down for Yolinton. Craig Dawson gives the ball away in the halfway line, wipes someone out. Crikey, we're individual errors all over the place as that stat come out. But GP loves my shirt. Yeah, I like it. I like my shirt too. That's why I wear it. I wouldn't wear it if I didn't like it, believe it or not. Unless Gonzo made it, then I'd wear it just to keep him happy. I'm nice like that sometimes. Where are we? Jamie says that, do you think it'd be a good idea to add a standing section between the gaps at London Stadium? I'd like to see a standing section. I'm not sure if it'll be in the gaps, though, because that will interfere possibly with the sight of the people in the upper tier. The rake of the lower tier, if you like, will become different, if you like. Right, okay, before I go, I'm just going to bring up the people picking up Ham's chat. Liam says he's a big supporter and advocate for Patreon and middle tier. It's superb and it helps us out a lot. It does help us out a lot. Andy said he loves the Patreon. So thank you to the guys that are sort of helping myself and Gonzo promote Patreon. Really appreciate it. But anyway, I'm going to disappear there because I'm away to make something to eat. I'm pretty peckish. I'm so away to have some tea. Thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed this live video, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And then myself and Gonzo will catch you tomorrow night. We're live tomorrow night with the 5 yards video. So please join us if you can, because they've supported the channel as well. And we need it to be as good as possible. So the more people in live chat, the better it'll be. Anyway, look after yourselves. Take care, and I'll see you soon.